In the day's other news, the COVID crisis in India piled up huge new numbers again, passing 200,000 deaths overall. Ali Rogan has our report.
On Tuesday alone, India's official death toll spiked at almost 3,300, its deadliest day.
The situation is horrific, absolutely terrible. Everyone is afraid, every single person.
Outside crematoriums, ambulances now wait hours to offload bodies. Workers hastily build new platforms to keep up with the volume. Amit Kaushik waited to cremate a relative.
Cremation area, we searched 2 or 3, but there are no space. Then finally we came here. And we are waiting from the last 2 or 3 hours.
Those who can't find hospital beds suffer in the streets. Even inside ICUs, oxygen and other supplies remain scarce.
I'm buying oxygen at the rate of gold. The situation come to that level.
And while India hosts the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, it's running out of shots. At this vaccine center in Mumbai, hopeful recipients were turned away.
They are telling us that injections are not available, as vaccines have not arrived. I registered to come here 3 days ago.
As the situation worsened, the international community responded. On Tuesday, the first shipment of British aid arrived in New Delhi, including ventilators and oxygen tanks. The U.S. is now sending medical equipment and raw materials to make vaccines. President Biden said Tuesday that doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will also be shipped. But Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come under fire for permitting superspreader events like religious festivals and his own political rallies. Even as the current crisis grew, he urged against lockdowns.
Friends, in the current situation, we have to save the country from another lockdown. I would also like to request states to only use lockdown as a last resort.
But in the capital city, New Delhi, the last resort has already arrived. Officials there just extended an existing lockdown until May. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Ali Rogan.
As the crisis deepens in India, COVID-19 infections in the U.S. have fallen nearly 25% in the past 2 weeks. A body camera video in the fatal shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. by sheriff's deputies in North Carolina will not be made public for now. A judge in Elizabeth City blocked the release today. But in Chicago, an independent board released video of the Anthony Alvarez killing. He had his back turned and appeared to drop a gun just before police shot him. We'll have details later in the program. The U.S. Justice Department says 3 white men in Georgia will face federal hate crimes charges in the Ahmaud Arbery killing. Arbery was jogging in Brunswick, Georgia last year when the men allegedly chased and fatally shot him. They already face state murder charges. The U.S. Senate today voted to restore regulations aimed at limiting methane emissions from oil and gas fields. Trump-era rules had rolled back the rules governing the greenhouse gas. The debate and the vote divided largely down party lines.
As we transition towards a 100% clean energy future, a future without pollution, we must do all that we can to mitigate the harmful pollution caused by our current use of fossil fuels. And that's exactly what these rules are designed to do.
We shouldn't demonize an industry that is part of the lifeblood of our economy. We should celebrate the emission reduction accomplishments and look for ways to further incentivize those. Let's focus on solutions that address our climate challenges without destroying the economic engines of growth.
The bill now goes to the House of Representatives, which is expected to approve it. Federal investigators today searched the Manhattan apartment and office of Rudy Giuliani, former President Trump's personal lawyer. It is widely reported they seized computers and cell phones in a probe of Giuliani's business dealings in Ukraine. In a statement, he denied any improper lobbying. Iran is not talking about a face-off with an American warship in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Navy says the USS Firebolt fired warning shots Monday night when 3 Revolutionary Guard vessels came within 70 yards. It is the second incident this month involving U.S. and Iranian vessels. Hong Kong's legislature has approved a law that could bar people from entering or leaving and thereby give mainland China even more control. It's the latest such move since the mass protests in 2019. Hong Kong's government denied today that it means to limit anyone's rights. Back in this country, the Federal Reserve is once again keeping its benchmark interest rate close to zero. The central bank today noted significant progress in the economic recovery. But Chairman Jerome Powell said that the Fed needs more evidence before changing its current policies.
So we're hopeful that we will see along this path a way to that goal, and we believe we will, just as a question of when. We've had one great jobs report. It's not enough. We're going to act on actual data, not on a forecast, and we're just going to need to see more data. It's no more complicated than that.
Powell acknowledged that inflation has risen, but he said policymakers believe that is only temporary. The Fed's news did little to encourage Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 164 points to close at 33,820. The Nasdaq fell 39 points, and the S&P 500 slipped 3. Still to come on the NewsHour, the Supreme Court hears a critical case involving free speech for students. Another police killing of a black man sparks protests and calls for structural change, plus much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.